It's so often that we play a deadly shot, then follow it up with a basic mistake. The frustration builds when you can't rely on your own game. But look, focusing on consistency the ways that I'm going to show you today changed everything for me. I believe it's why I was able to go from beginner to state team in just 1 year. That being said, let's get started. The first mistake I was a big culprit of was swinging way too big. Many players use larger swings than necessary, and it looks powerful, but it's wildly inefficient. It completely slows down your recovery for the next shot, and it leaves you out of position, forcing a rushed and inaccurate return. If you swing using shorter and more compact movements, still using your body, then you're going to have much faster recovery. You'll be constantly ready for the next ball, and it's going to reduce the unforced errors you make by a lot. But Ma Long has such a massive swing, and yes, I know, at least he did 5 years ago. The reason is because 5 years ago he still had the physicality and the ability to have that recovery after each massive shot he played. The reason he uses a shorter arm and a more compact swing now is because he's older and recovery gets harder. So unless you're an elite athlete specializing in table tennis, if you can recover quicker, it's way easier to be consistent. Now, the next mistake that I used to make a lot that hindered my consistency a bunch, and this is a mistake that I'm constantly fixing at my club as well with players. The problem is that these players are hitting so flat and straight through the ball. When you hit so flat and with such little spin, you reduce your margin for error. A small mistake in the angle of your racket is going to send the ball flying into the net or flying off the end of the table. You've got to actively use your rubber to impart more topspin on your stroke. If you can actually brush the ball, you're going to arc the ball back onto the table, and your shots are going to become so much safer than they were without spin. If you want to become a safer and more consistent player right now, remind yourself constantly that spin matters over power. Now, the third thing that helped me improve my consistency a ton was mentally setting consistency as a goal. The problem is that so many players focus on hitting solely with power and hitting winners, and they completely neglect the foundational aspect of consistency. This actually came up with a guy inside Table Tennis United. The guy had amazing power, amazing spin, amazing quality on his shots, but he was always going for Hail Marys. And then he comes to me wondering why he's losing matches, even though he believes he's the better player. The reason he's losing is because he's trying to kill the ball straight away. We've worked through it now, but here's what I told him, and this is what made it better. The solution for you guys, the solution for him, was to make it a deliberate and conscious goal. Before every match and every practice session, tell yourself, my primary goal is consistency. And the best thing is, and this is anecdotal, I don't have any scientific evidence to back this up, but it's work with me, work with the players that I've coached. When you make this conscious mental shift, I want to be more of a consistent player, what happens subconsciously and reactively in your matches and training is you go for high percentage shots subconsciously, even without thinking about it. Tell yourself it's about being consistent. It dramatically reduced the amount of unforced errors I made and a lot of people made. Now, the last thing you can do to massively increase your consistency is to slow down your drills. And I know how lame that sounds. The problem is that younger me, so many people now are rushing through drills without perfect technique. You're literally practicing your mistakes. You build bad muscle memory and you're going to break down in your matches. It's just wild to me now why I used to hit so hard in training when I was trying to be consistent. The solution that applies to everyone looking to improve their consistency is deliberately slowing down your drills. Focus intensely on executing your idea of perfect technique and focus on having the optimal timing, consistent contact at a reduced pace. If you can do that, you're going to get way more repetitions of the perfect motions, and that's going to result in so much more consistency. When you're practicing drills for consistency, I like to have a rule that you should be able to hit your strokes on 90% of the time. You might have to play at a pace where you're getting 95% of the shots on, but you've got to slow down, man. Once a technique is consistent and repeatable at a slower pace, you can gradually add speed and power without sacrificing your reliability. And by the way, if you want some drills that I've engineered specifically to improve your consistency, then check out Table Tennis United. We've got some drills, resources in there that have really changed things for some guys. Now, we know how easily our killer points can be undone by a simple, stupid mistake. It's so frustrating, and that gap, that consistency that's costing you so much in your matches needs to go away. And by mastering compact strokes, brushing the ball well, making consistency your conscious goal, as well as slowing down in training to hardwire the perfect habits, you'll cut through those costly errors in your matches, I'm telling you. So go to training, implement these tips, use these adjustments, and I can guarantee that your consistency is going to increase. See you later, man.